Hey y'all, Sherry G. Welcome to the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed your holiday. I did. Um, it was a quiet time spent with just a small amount of family because I'm so far away from my family. We are all over the place. So anyway, it was very quiet and peaceful, but it was also a time for me to reflect. So it was a very reflective, introspective time for me. So anyway, y'all, I did watch Saturday's episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Didn't watch it on Saturday. I didn't watch it until yesterday. And I actually took some time to just really reflect on everything that was happening in that scene. One of the things that came out is that the Whitlows are indeed leaving the show. Well, they didn't actually say it on the show. There was a tweet that Carlos King put out after the show aired, stating that they were, in fact, going to leave. The Whitlows did mention that they thought it would be the best decision at this particular point in time in their life. So, yeah, guys, the Whitlows, they've decided to leave the show. According to them, the time constraints for filming, it's a lot. It's too much, especially with them having baby Ace. And production really doesn't have like a set schedule. Like they can call you without much notice, and it makes it especially difficult when you have a small child. So anyway, y'all, let me go ahead, run this disclaimer, and come back with my commentary on the Whitlows. Hang tight.
How you like that? You gon' like that? Da 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 da. You like that? Bada bing, bada boom, boom, boom. How you like that? Da 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 da. Now, look at you, now look at me. Look at you, now look at me. Look at you, now look at me. How you like that? Now, look at you, now look at me. Look at you, now look at me. Look at you, now look at me. How you like that?
Okay, y'all, I'm back. Now, look, if you didn't do so, please go ahead and hit the like button. I forgot to ask you to do that before. Anyway, it would be much appreciated if you didn't do it, if you would go ahead and take time to do that now. Them leaving the show. Now, y'all keep in mind that the views I express, it's just my way of seeing things. It's my opinion. And everything is alleged. Could be true, might not be true. So anyway, y'all. When I look at the Whitlows, I'm actually happy that they've decided to step away from the show. Like there's a lot of things that have been speculated about them. People have indeed been speculating that something is off with this couple, that Lou has not been home, and that could mean that there's something else going on. Just a lot. And to me, I personally feel like, especially when it comes to Lou, that he'd rather deal with everything that's happening in their family behind closed doors than be an open book on the show. And so, in my opinion, being on reality TV, it's not a good fit for people who want to remain private, like I feel this couple does. And then when it comes to Tiffany, of course, she said that social media had a lot to do with her decisions. And she feels that people are wishy-washy in what they want. Like sometimes they say they want you to be messy, then they don't want you to be messy. And of course, there's the speculations that Lou may be stepping out. And again, I feel that you have to have a backbone to be on social media. To be on a reality TV show, especially if you're not giving the viewers what they want. And what the viewers want overall is transparency. And that's what's really lacking with this couple. We see this couple come when they first initially came on the show. she and Lou came on and they were very tight-lipped, it seemed, about their real life, their marriage. But yet, at the same time, they tried to position themselves as the couple with a strong marriage who had the secret formula on how to make it work. Like they were the ones giving advice to the other couples, and they got called out on it by their castmates. And of course, people in social media had a lot to say. They're like, you guys need to open up more. What's really going on behind the doors at your home? But, the only time that we started to see that there was trouble in their paradise was when the guys got together and they went to that, I don't know, I forgot the name of the place, but where they go and they work out their frustration by just breaking up a bunch of stuff. So until Lou reached the point where he became very frustrated with Tiffany's lack of presence at home because she was traveling a lot, that coupled with his sexual frustration, or the lack thereof, of sex from Tiffany, until he expressed that to the guys, we kind of sat back as viewers trying to figure it out, right? We knew something was off, but we really didn't know. And this was a moment of transparency, of real transparency on Lewis's part. And Tiffany always tried to backpedal and play it down, in my opinion. Now, when she talks about, the viewers want her to be messy and the viewers don't want her to be messy, I feel like Tiffany came on the show being messy and having Karen-like vibes. That's what she brought to the show, in my opinion. Also, in my opinion, it was ramped up with a laser focus on Kiki because she allegedly, Tiffany, when I say she, I mean Tiffany, was given an ultimatum by Carlos King to either come with it or she would be replaced. So in my mind, I think she saw Kiki as a threat to her position on the show, and she went at her like a locomotive, full speed and out of control. And she turned the heat up and came on super Karen strong in this particular season, especially on the second half. She came for Kiki and gave everything she had to try and smear Kiki's name, in my opinion. Now, she seemed to have forgotten that, she had this air about her, like she was better than Kiki. And I'm so glad that Stormy called her on it, because she certainly had her nose up in the air when it came to Kiki. And she tried to lie to Stormy, claiming that that's not what she meant when she stated that she'd never been around people like that. Or, she seemed to have had amnesia and forgotten when she said that, she was talking to Mel and she was saying things like, well, she might tarnish our brands. She might tarnish your brand. Are you worried about that? And, when she was saying she's not used to being around a person like that, a person who fights. Yet, in my opinion, Tiffany fights all the time with her snide remarks and disparaging comments. She's antagonistic, in my opinion. So this is the thing that the viewers see, and this is the thing that the viewers are talking about. Like, it's okay to be messy, but you know what? You can't be messy if you don't want to be transparent. So it's really the lack of transparency with this couple that has them frustrated. And I think that when Tiffany is looking at the comments, like, I get it. Like, social media can be really, really rough. And especially if you want to be private, like, I get it. People can be mean. They can be nasty. They don't put themselves in your place. They can say some pretty cruel things, and I know it can get to you. And apparently, although we don't see much of Tiffany on social media, she's apparently there. She's apparently there and paying attention to what the viewers have to say. So again, being myself a viewer, right? I'm just taking the position that it's not that we care about whether she's messy or not. I mean, we do, but the main concern is like the lack of transparency with this couple. And I feel like that's why Lou is backing down and backing away. Again, I understand that Tiffany is also going through postpartum depression, perhaps. I believe that. And that is a real thing. Like I said, I have no doubt that this is what she's dealing with. It's a very real thing that happens to tons of women after childbirth. So if you take that along with raising two active young teenage boys, your husband now on the road more than he did before, caring for a newborn, trying to be on a show which calls for you to be real, it's a lot, and it can take a negative toll for sure. Tiffany actually mentioned that they would be taking a break away from the show, just taking a break. But I hope that they're prepared to be open and honest about themselves should they ever come back. In the meantime, I do wish them well. And I wish that Tiffany finds Tiffany. That's going to take some looking at the woman in the mirror. And that's what a lot of people don't want to do. They don't want to look at the woman in the mirror or the man in the mirror and get honest with themselves. It's easier to look at everyone else in our lives and point the finger at them without questioning how we show up, without questioning why we do the things we do, what makes us tick. Why do we react a certain way? What's going on with us? What's going on in our hearts? Like it's really, really hard to look at the person in the mirror and be honest sometimes, because sometimes you have to go back and you have to revisit some places. You have to revisit some situations, and sometimes going back to those places, going back to those situations, those experiences can conjure up emotions that you just kind of like shove down. But we have to realize that those things are still affecting us somehow, right? Somehow they're still affecting us. So I hope that Tiffany will get the answers that she's looking for. Now, someone commented on my community wall that the Whitlows left to get ahead of something that was about to happen. I don't know, y'all. What do y'all think? I mean, I don't know. That comment kind of like just stood out to me, and it had me pondering because I was trying to think like, what could have happened? I mean, that we don't already know. I really don't know. I mean, it could be some truth to that. Anyway, y'all, I know that viewers have been calling for them to be pulled from the show because, like I said, they lack transparency. And even though I'm with those people, I still wish this couple well. I wish that they do well. I'm hopeful that they are able to come together in their marriage and figure things out, that Tiffany will get what she needs, Lou will get what she needs, so that they can be the best they can be for themselves and for their children. So anyway, y'all, that is all I have for you in today's video. Again, if you haven't done so, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. I'll be back. Until then, ciao.
How you like that?